This is the Sahn Outdoors podcast.
Dropped like a sack of taters. He's dead right there. He's dead right there.
Hey guys, McCade here. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Sahn Outdoors podcast. This podcast is powered by King's Camo. Performance, pattern, price. Those are the three main focuses of King's. If you haven't checked out their camo lineup, please jump on over to their website, kingscamo.com, and take a look. We're currently running the XKG series, which is more of their performance lineup, but they have a camo to fit all different needs and price points. When shopping at kingscamo.com, make sure you save yourself a little bit of money by using our discount code SAHN, that is S-A-H-N, when you check out. As always, feel free to shoot us a message on social media. If you have any questions regarding King's Camo or their gear, we're happy to help wherever we can. This podcast that Zach and myself recorded with Kelly Cox of Utah Big Game Outfitters and iVideo Wildlife was a really fun podcast. We had a blast talking to Kelly, and Kelly and Zach have a little bit of history as Kelly filmed Zach's 2013 Sportsman's Mule Deer Hunt down on the Henry Mountains in Utah. Now, if you know anything about the Henry Mountains, you know that the Henrys is famous for producing massive monster mule deer. Kelly is a great guy. We had a lot of fun talking to him. We talked a lot about his experiences with Zach on the Henrys, how they got to know each other. We talked about iVideo Wildlife, which is Kelly's filming service, where he films lots of different hunts and just goes out and films animals in their habitat. We also get into a little bit of the Utah Big Game Outfitters business that Kelly Cox started with his friend, and talk about some of the experience they've had through that business and any tips and pointers they have for guys looking to hire a guide. So we had a lot of fun. Make sure you guys listen to the podcast. Leave us a review, check out King's Camo like we mentioned before, and enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Sahn Outdoors podcast. We're sitting here. This is McCade. We got Zach.
Yeah, I'm back again.
We're sitting in Zach's basement in his man cave, sitting in the presence of Dozer.
That was you this time.
I know.
That wasn't me.
And on the line, we've got Kelly Cox of Utah Big Game Outfitters and iVideo Wildlife.
Yep, iVideo Wildlife. Kelly, how you doing today?
Doing good, guys. How
Good.
are you?
We're doing well. We're excited to have you on. We've kind of been, trying to get you on a podcast for the last little bit. We tried to hit you up at the Hunt Expo, but couldn't get things lined out. But
that's a crazy time.
Yeah, it is a crazy
I
time.
was gonna say that's hard to make ends meet up there with everything that's going on. Sorry about
No apologies needed.
not getting with you guys.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So a little bit of a background with me and Kelly, at least, is
Wait! I got one thing we got to talk about.
what do we got to talk about?
Somebody, the Jase are playing tonight.
They are. Someone
They
scheduled
are.
this at a terrible time.
Yes.
So maybe about 15 minutes into it, somebody could give us a Jase score update so we know what's going on.
Perfect.
We
I'll be
can
on
do
that.
that.
I'm on it.
We can do that. I like that. Good thinking, Kelly. Good thinking.
Yeah, Game 5.
I know. Well, I think
We
that's
could-
the reason we were able to do the podcast at the expo. If I remember, you text me and say, "Hey, what about right now?" And you're like, "Oh, sorry, I'm on my way to the Jazz game." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah,
whatever."
exactly.
You Southern
Well,
Utah people have to go to a Jazz game when you're up north. So
well, when we make it up there, we got to do it.
that's
So-
true. So, anyways, Kelly and I, we got to know each other a little bit because of my sportsman's tag, and I know McCade keeps giving me a hard time about it, about talking about it so much, but with Kelly specifically, that's how I got in contact with him, and it all started because me and my dad, we are just trying to figure out, are we going to try to make this a lifetime memory by videoing it ourselves. And we had we'd had plenty of other people offer to video it. And I was on YouTube one day, and some of Kelly's videos from his time during the rut on the Henrys popped up, and I had watched a certain video or two, and I just loved this one particular buck. I think it was a trashy, nasty buck. Kelly, do you remember that buck? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was, really enjoyed watching that video. And so I'm like, oh, Kelly knows the Henrys, and he videos. That's what he does. And at that point, Kelly, it was 2013. How long had you been doing the iVideo wildlife thing?
So the idea of the iVideo Wildlife website specifically was kind of launched the fall of 2011 is when I launched it. As far as filming hunts, I've filmed family and my own little outings and stuff like that, just for fun and just for memories, which is honestly what iVideo Wildlife's all about. It's just documenting memories and and having them saved for forever. But I've been doing that since 2004, I believe, was when I very first started filming, making DVDs,
Okay.
and sharing them with buddies and family. But then the website was launched in 11.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, and so it was that video, the trashy, nasty video, and I remember I was at Cow Ranch working the gun counter, supposed to be working, and I'm on the internet watching hunting videos because at that point in time, I think it was about May or June at this point. I can't remember exactly, but I decided to shoot you an email, ask you if you've ever videoed a sportsman's tag hunt before, and you instantly got back to me, I think, later that night and said, no, I haven't. Why? Do you have the tag, if I remember correctly? I'm like, I do, actually. And you're like...
Well, it kind of perks a guy up.
Yeah.
Wait.
Sportsman's tag for the state of Utah.
Yeah, so I was like, would you be interested? And you're like, heck yeah, and so we met up in Cedar City when I went to your house and kind of talked about things, and then from there it just went to getting things in line, scouting trips planned, and hitting the mountain, essentially. And from there on, I've considered you a close friend. You were part of the biggest hunt of my life, and probably one of the top 3 or 4 memories so far of my life, And so from that point on, it's like, cool, got a cool friendship with Kelly. And through that hunt, I've had a lot of opportunities to get to know a lot of people in the hunting world. Kelly, with you, were you able to witness that as well through iVideo Wildlife, your website? Did that hunt allow you to make more connections?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll back up just for a second though, and just say that we did connect. We did, we met up at my house and kind of just let each other know our expectations,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But instantly we became friends. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
to me, the whole summer was kind of the cool, special part about your tag.
Yeah.
Is, I was an outsider and I got to be involved in that hunt with your family.
Yeah.
And your best friends, and just kind of try not to ruin it, I guess, or try to just be just there to document it and capture it. But we did become good friends, and we've stayed in touch ever since then. So
Yeah.
that was a cool part about your hunt to me. But yeah, it did open up. A lot of people watched. We created the series
Mm-hmm.
back then.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've learned a lot since then on my filming skills. I wish I would have done a better job on your videos, but I guess it is what it is. You learn a little bit every year, but
And the technology was different then too. It's come so far since 2013. We're only talking 5 years, but it's a whole nother ball game now.
It does. It changes so fast, and the camera gear changes so fast that it's hard to keep up with it. But a lot of we set it up as a kind of a series, kind of like you see on on vlogs nowadays, but it wasn't really a vlog, but it was more, instead of just one video, we shared it. And this is before anybody ever really had done this. You know, we shared it more as a documentary of our summer scouting, you know, all the way up through. It's not just a final video, which we did produce a final video.
Correct.
But we got people pretty hyped up and excited for your hunt through the 2 or 3 videos we did before we actually did the you know, the kill shot and the final video type deal. And I think that's what really gravitated people towards our little series that we did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you've seen the same thing.
No, I thought the same thing. I remember being a little nervous because I wanted, you know, part of me asking you is I wanted to, you know, I remember the conversation with my dad was, you know, Dad, this Kelly Cox, he's kind of up and coming as far as the video thing goes. And, you know, I think it'd be cool to have him on. And my dad, I remember, specifically said, well, you know, you've been blessed with this great opportunity. Why don't you kind of pass the buck and give this guy an opportunity to kind of get his name out there? It was kind of the conversation. And I just remember you coming to me and saying, you know, I think we should release, you know, a video after each weekend scouting trip. And I remember being like, oh, but that might take away from your video sales at the end of the year. Because up to that point, I think other people around the state who did videos would have a big reveal, you know, at the end of hunting season, and they would make you know, their money that way. But I definitely have seen and noticed, you know, at the time by you know, posting those videos leading up. That was
kind of the end of the DVD era. You know, I did produce a DVD with that, but it was kind of right there at the end of the era of, you know, people just weren't watching DVDs anymore, and people were wanting to just watch it online. And after I produced that DVD, I think I did one more DVD, and then I was just like, you know what, it's dead. It's died. You know, it's came and gone, and YouTube or so, you know, whatever is the future. So, yeah. So.
Yeah, it definitely evolved. I remember, you know, all the Mossback videos, Times Up DVDs, all that stuff, and I mean, now the hunting channel, even on TV, is dying.
Is it really?
Yeah,
oh yeah,
everything's going to online-based platforms.
Wow.
I mean, YouTube is just taking it.
That's crazy.
What is the?
They are, as long as they don't screw it up here for us.
Yeah, right.
yeah. Well, that's a whole. We can have a whole nother podcast on those things. What videos are allowed and what videos aren't.
Kelly, for those people that are listening, what is the series called? How can they find the series of the hunt we've been discussing?
Oh, geez. Put me on the spot.
It's been 5
there.
years.
You know what? I think we just pretty much called it the Utah Sportsman's. Zach, help me out. You probably used them as much as I have.
Well, I always joke around that, like, I think there's, like, the kill shot video, I think there's, like, 49,000 views, and I always joke around that 25 of them are myself. So I've definitely, you know, seen it quite a bit, but... I think that we had...
So the easiest way, and this is not a self-promotion deal here, but the easiest way, if you do get on the iVideo Wildlife YouTube channel, and you go to, I have a series that you can click onto, and you can watch every single video of just the Sportsman's Buck series of videos. You don't have to watch anything else on my channel. You can just go to that.
But you should watch other things on the channel.
And watch them. Yep.
Kelly has a lot of great videos. If you haven't heard of iVideo Wildlife, you've been living under a rock.
Yeah.
Kelly has some awesome stuff. Every September I get fired up watching your videos with all the bulls coming and bugling, and man, that gets you pumped for a hunt.
That is true. Yeah,
I appreciate it. I'm kind of, I don't know. I feel like I learn every year and get a little bit better every year, and hopefully it's entertaining to people for sure. So.
Yeah. No, I believe it is, and so after my hunt, Kelly, your dad had a once-in-a-lifetime bighorn sheep hunt, correct?
13 was a big year for us, yeah.
Yeah. I remember that was kind of the thing was, you kind of were like, oh, I hope you don't wait until the rut to kill the thing because I'm going to be helping my dad. And it was kind of a touch and go kind of thing. It was like, oh, man, how are we going to play this out? But it worked out perfect, and you were able to enjoy that hunt with your dad. An amazing video, too, if for those of you listening. It's a sweet video.
Yeah. Yeah, we had the bighorn sheep hunt for my dad, and I had a bear hunt that same year.
Oh, that's right.
And my lion hunt also, all in the same year. So
yeah,
we were able to throw some footage down for sure. I was busy editing, that was for sure.
Oh yeah,
and that's the most time consuming of it all. If you've ever edited.
Yeah. And like you said, Kelly, when it came to my family and friends, I felt like you just fell right into the mold. You just instantly became one of us, made the hunt just seem. Rather than you being a videographer, I felt like you were a friend helping me hunt, and then the video thing came second. And I think you're right on that, and I think that's probably what's made it so rewarding for you in videoing your friends and your family's hunts. And you can tell in your videos, especially that hunt 2 years ago, I think, in Colorado, your dad's Colorado deer hunt, when you kind of hit you, that special experience you had. And that was,
oh yeah.
I mean, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. Like, that's what it's about. That's what it's all about.
And capturing those moments on film.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Well, with the iVideo Wildlife, I've tried a few different avenues, with the website and getting hired out to film hunts and doing big, huge hunt giveaways, and trying to turn it into something, I guess you would say, and the more I pushed it, the more honestly it became a job, and it became less fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to turn off all your viewers. If we're not doing this because we enjoy it, and the minute you turn it into something that it's something you have to do, you're going to soon find out you're not going to do it no more,
Right.
And so I've changed a few things with the iVideo Wildlife. It's not a big deal for me to do the big hunt giveaways. I'm not trying to go out and get, hired on to film hunts or anything like that. It's more just about me capturing the memories of me, my family, and I do occasional hunts, but within reason, you know what I mean? So.
Well, I remember I was talking to Kalen Lemon, actually. I was up on Kolob, kind of up above, like it was like a little piece of BLM property in between some Zion land where some deer would go down in winter. And it was actually where Mossback killed that governor's tag that scored 277 that one year. And I was talking to Kalen because he was up there looking, because that kind of all of a sudden became a hot spot. And there were some big deer in there, but I was just kind of picking Kalen's brain. And I was like, so do you like being a guide? And he's like, kinda. And he kind of explained how, it's a job now. It's not something, it's not going out with your family and hunting. And then I also worked with Andrew Heaton of Color Country Outfitters. His brother's Wade. And Andrew, considers himself to be a professional hunter. That's what he does. That's kind of his main source of income. And he said, Zach, to be honest with you, the amount of ulcers that I get every October in my stomach because I've been trying to get these clients who have such high expectations on stuff, he says it literally drains you physically and mentally. And he says, everybody says, oh, it'd be so cool to be a hunting guide. But once you take that, and you've experienced it with iVideo Wildlife, now once it becomes more like a job, it just kind of quickly turns into a snowball effect if you're not careful, and takes the fun out of it.
It does, but there's all them guys you talked about do an amazing job, with what they've turned it into, and it's hard. I'm kind of talking out both sides of my mouth here, because it's hard to not if it creates an opportunity for you to make some money or make some side money or whatever, it's hard to not let that happen. But I guess all I'm saying to anybody listening that cares is just keep it fun. You know what I mean? And do it for the right reason and keep it fun. So and honestly, that was all iVideo Wildlife was ever about. Is I started it to share. It's my journal through video.
I like that. Yeah, I like it. That put that way. Definitely agree.
So Kelly, I got a question for you. How did your camera gear evolve from when you first started to what you've got now?
There's so many camera options out there. I mean, it definitely it evolved for sure, But I've always had, even Zach's hunt and years before Zach's hunt, I've always loved videoing wildlife, and that's why I've always had nice camera gear. You know what I mean? So, but it changes so fast and evolves so much that it's hard to keep up with. But to this day, I have people get on my Instagram or the last 4K video I put out of the bighorn sheep. I've had guys like Tim Burnett with Solo Hunters message me and say, "Dude, what camera are you using?"
Dude, that's awesome.
And he uses the best of the best, and I'm using a $1,800 camera.
Yeah.
Honestly, every camera I own is less than $2,000. I don't have the big interchange. I have a small Sony right now. Currently, I have a small Sony 6300 that has interchangeable lenses for like wide angle, scenery, landscape, time lapse shots. And it also has a prime lens that I can get some night photos with and some more shallow depth of view type shots with that camera. And then my main camera is a Sony Rx10 III. It's about a $1,500 camera. It's got a fixed lens on it, but it's a lens that goes all the way out to 600 millimeters, an f4 lens. So it's a dang nice camera, but I've just found that I don't have running and gunning out in the mountains. I don't want to be worried about what lens I have on or what lens I got to get off and get on before this happens or that happens. And I just have found this system works great for me. And honestly, guys, the magic happens after, when you're on the computer. Honestly, anybody can go grab a camera and pick it up, and as long as you do the smart thing and put it on a tripod, you can get just the same shots as I'm getting or anybody else is getting. But the editing software, the post-production stuff, color grading, all that kind of that's probably where I've evolved the most since your hunt, Zach, is what happens after I get home, with the footage.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's amazing to see what a good editor can do with some of even the worst film. I've seen a lot of guys running a camera for a whole hunt without ever putting the camera on a tripod, and it's so freaking shaky. And then you put that footage in someone's hands, and with their creative eye and just editing skills, they can actually make something pretty decent out of all that shaky footage.
Yeah.
Just the way they piece it.
The softwares these days are pretty amazing of what they can do, But that honestly, time spent after the videoing in the post-production is way more important than the filming goes. So,
but would you say 9 times out of 10 having your camera on tripods for your shots is pretty critical?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's when I'm out trying to film a whatever, whether I'm over Green River filming bighorn sheep, or if I'm down on the Henrys, if I'm trying to get that shot, I think Zach can even tell you, that camera's on my tripod and on my shoulder, just like a spot and scope would be to some guys. I walk around with that thing mounted on a tripod, and I mean, there's some hunts. If it's just me and Bridger, my son, I don't. Sometimes you get sick of filming.
Yeah.
Like that double down video last year. I made something out of it, but I had no intentions of like trying to just really do a super good job filming. In fact, Bridger was running the camera a lot of the times on that hunt. So there's times where it's nice just to grab the camera and get a little, right in your face type. It can be shaky or whatever, but if you're trying to film an animal or do a good job that somebody's going to want to watch, you want that thing on a tripod for sure.
Yeah. Kelly, you kind of mentioned, this is kind of a good segue into it, because I kind of wanted to talk to you about this as far as being a dad and getting your kids into the outdoors, getting them to love the outdoors, gain a passion for it like you have. And, I knew Bridger when he's 12 years old, and he had just killed, how big was that buck, 185 inches? That buck that he ended up killing?
So his very first buck he killed was that G6 buck when he was 12.
Yep.
Now that I think that buck was more. No, he's in the 170s.
Is he?
He's a cool buck, but
right.
He's kind of young.
You had the history with the buck.
We can't give that kid too much credit.
Yeah.
He's killed bigger
I
stuff
know.
than me.
And that's what I wanted to kind of touch on, was your passion for videoing and creating memories. I mean, over the last couple of years, you have created so many memories for you and Bridger to always have. And that double down video where both of you guys kill gnarly bucks. Your buck was incredible with the ice pick coming off the back. And then Bridger's buck is just a monarch, how old was his deer, do you think?
I'm not sure. They're at the taxidermist right now, but I mean, his buck doesn't score near what my buck scores, but his deer is at a minimum 2 years older than my deer.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 or more.
Yeah.
So
what have you done, Kelly, as a dad and as a videographer, and now as you started Utah Big Game Outfitters? What have you done, and what are your goals to keep your family motivated? Specifically Bridger, your son, what have you done to help him gain that passion? What can fathers do out there that may have like an 8-year-old boy, kind of coming up through the ranks? Would you have any advice for them on what they could do to kind of develop that passion for the outdoors?
Man, just, honestly, just what my dad did to me, and probably your dad did to you, is provide them the opportunity to be there. You know what I mean? Just get them out there. Take the time and make sure. For years, it was kind of funny because last year Bridger told me, he says, "Dad, you haven't killed a deer in however many years because you're always helping me."
Mm-hmm.
He's all, this is your year to kill a big deer, So, I put him first since he was 12 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think now that he's getting older, he realized that. And we just, Bridger did some sports. He didn't do a ton of sports in high school. He did some baseball and then ended up not making the teams and things like that. He just has always told me, Dad, I just want to go hunt with you, and I'm good with that, And I'm like, well, I'm not going to push you into sports or something that, can be not fun, in high school or whatever. So that's just kind of been our thing, is hunting and fishing together. Last year I went to Colorado without Bridger because of his schooling and stuff, and it bothered me not having him out there with me. So
Yeah.
luckily I get to go back this year, hopefully he'll draw the same tag, and then we'll go over there. But we just became hunting buddies, and we it just started, I guess, with me providing him the opportunity and taking him and doing it together out in the outdoors. So
Yeah, I think, because you've provided that passion, Bridger being younger, he wants to kill the big buck. But I think with him telling you, hey, Dad, and recognizing, Dad, you haven't killed a deer for a few years, I think that is him kind of maturing through you giving him the opportunities, and so many great opportunities for him to realize, you know what? It's not about the big deer. It's about the memories that I want to have with my dad. And so for him to be able to say, you know what, Dad, it's your turn. I want to have a memory of you killing a big buck, or, it's your turn to be behind the scope, So that's neat. That's cool that Bridger is able to recognize that and be, there's a lot of punk kids out there that wouldn't do that for their dad. A little selfish. That's cool. Bridger, is like, hey, Dad, it's your turn.
yeah, no, it was cool. It kind of shocked me and blew me away that he said it, but
Mm-hmm.
After what is he, 17? After 5 years, I didn't turn down the opportunity. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go.
Game on.
It's my turn.
Cool.
Hey, quick update, because you wanted it, Kelly. It's halftime.
Yeah.
Jazz are up 56-41 over OKC.
Oh, we're smoking them.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Listen, Paul George is on his way to L.A. right now. I don't think he's coming out for the second half. They've thrown in the towel.
That Westbrook is whining tonight.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he is. Sorry for any Oklahoma listeners right now, but our Jazz are kind of taking it to you guys.
Oh, it's cool. So.
Yeah, it's fun to see the state rally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kelly, you also dabble in some outfitting, right? You and your buddy started. Go ahead.
So I video wildlife kind of, for the same reasons that Zach reached out to me is a lot of people would, see videos or see animals that I might have filmed or whatever, and they would reach out to me and be like, well, God, where should I put in? What should I do? I've got this many elk points, or I've got this many deer points.
I've asked you that since over the last few years. Kelly, where would you put in,
Yeah, and so I got that a lot, and it built off of the iVideo Wildlife, platform. And actually, so the guy that helped my dad on his bighorn sheep hunt, his name's Colby Hunt. I met him over there on my dad's hunt. We hit it off pretty good, and then, but nothing happened. I mean, I didn't become part of Utah Big Game Outfitters with Colby until 15 is when he gave me a call and said, I'm a one-man band. I feel like I've got a good name. I'm what kind of person I am. What I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be the biggest outfitter in the state of Utah and have stuff going on everywhere and guides all over the mountain. I want to just stay small, but I want to really base my outfitter business off of the guides that are out there with their boots on the ground and their trucks getting beat up to make the majority of the money. And it basically said, do you want to be a partner with me? And I thought about it and thought back of all the discussions and talks I've had with people over the years, and I just thought, I never really wanted to be a guide myself.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could be a partner, a business partner in a company, and I could help with people asking me questions like that, then maybe it'd be a good fit. And we laid a plan out on the table, and that's what it is Kobe. He formed the company, and then he let me into it. And I'm more of I do have my guide's license, but I'm more of a business partner.
Okay.
Like I'm not out there worried about getting, booked up for the fall for myself. In fact, I honestly, I don't even have time to take more than maybe one hunt a fall, and so that's all I enter, and I kind of help with the finances and the permits. I mean, the permitting with the state of Utah with BLMs and Forest Services, it's a job. You've got to be. You don't just get a permit for BLM for everywhere. You have to get a Cedar BLM, and then you've got to get a Richfield BLM, and then you've got to get a St. George BLM, and every one of them is time consuming, and so that's what I do, and I help kind of advertise and promote and talk to hunters on the phone and book hunts, and then I kind of hand them off to a select few guides that we have in the company that just take hunts for us. So
right on. So Kelly, how many guides do you have working for Utah Big Game Outfitters?
Last year, 2017, we had Jase Guyman.
Who's the machine, as you call him.
Yeah, the machine. I give him that nickname. That kid's he's an animal for sure. Makes a 43-year-old guy like me look bad on the mountain. Yeah, he did a bunch of hunts for us. I think he helped you, didn't he? A little bit?
He did. He is a stud. Yep. Holy cow. Couldn't have done it without him.
Yeah, you cut out on me a little bit.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it without Jase's help. That guy was dragging me all over the mountain and making me look pathetic.
That hunt was in Kelly's neck of the woods there on the Manti.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you say that, but Jase
lives on that mountain.
Yes.
He lives on the Emery side. I came from Manti, is where I grew up, so they literally were my backyard, and I know the mountain well, but Jase knows it. Like I've been gone too long, and Jase is there every single night, and he knows the mountain very well.
Wow. Oh.
So he took a bunch of hunts for us. Kobe takes his big thing is sheep hunting.
Mm-hmm.
He loves to take the bighorn sheep hunters and some desert sheep hunters. He does some mule deer hunts down that are on general units down in the desert on the floor, basically off the Henrys.
well, he prides himself on tracking, right? Like
Yeah.
I just remember being told that, hey, Kobe can recognize a mature mule deer by his track, and he will stay on that track until he finds it, and it could be 2-3 days later. Like, he's relentless, is what I've been told.
Yeah, and that's what he does, and he's got returning clientele that just go on general season hunts with him year after year, and they're killing. Well, he killed a 208-inch typical with hard. It's. I'm going to screw this up. Kobe will be mad at me, but it's in the top. I want to say it's either in the top 5 or top 7 in the state of Utah for typical mule deer, and is off a general unit.
Wow.
That doesn't take a lifetime to draw. And that's why it's so attractive to people to go with him.
Yeah.
Rocky Dedamani, he came on board last year, and I seen you had him on the podcast the other night. I watched a little bit of that.
We did.
And I actually hired Rocky Dedamani. He works for Straight Stripe where I work now. So we became good friends, and now he works with me over there, and so I see Rocky every day, but he still wants to do a few hunts for us, and we've got some other guys. Taylor Flinton, he hasn't done a hunt for us yet, but he's worked with Jase on a couple, and he's excited to start going on a few hunts with us. So yeah. Jared Higgins, I forgot about the hound side, lions and bears. Jared takes takes some lion and bear hunts for us on that side. And then he's got some younger guys that like to run around with him and chase dogs around the mountains. So.
Yeah, that's probably more, when you're bear hunting, I swear. My dad's bear hunt, it was Labor Day weekend, and we were down in Monticello, and it turned into a show there on Labor Day weekend. Dogs going into camps, dogs getting distracted by barbecues, like, hey, that smells like a good burger over there. That's where I'm going. And it's like we spent half the day rounding dogs up. It was a pain in the butt.
Houndsmen are a different breed.
Houndsmen are a different breed. But Jared seems pretty cool. I've never officially met Jared, but I know a few houndsmen, and he seems to be pretty normal. Is that the right word to say when talking about houndsmen?
Very, very much when you're talking about hounds. As far as I'm concerned, they're all crazy.
So Utah Big Game Outfitters, pretty much any animal throughout the state of Utah, any unit?
Not any unit. No, I mean we kind of draw the line at kind of that central Utah.
Okay.
We don't do much up on the northern end of the state.
So pretty much just central Utah and everything south.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Pretty much east to west. We took some San Juan elk hunters last year. Jase had a San Juan elk tag last year,
and he's got another one this year.
Yeah, I think that guy's as lucky as you are, Zach.
I know.
I think he's luckier.
No, 2 years in a row. Jeez.
No kidding. Yeah, that expo's been good to him for sure.
Yes, it has.
But, yeah, so that's kind of how Utah. That's the story behind Utah Big Game Outfitters. It's I enjoy it. I'm not the guy out there, standing next to the hunter very often or anything like that. But I'm okay with that because I'm okay with doing the hunts with Bridger and my dad and things like that. Oh.
Yeah.
So maybe with you not being like so much the guide yourself, taking clients out often. So this might be stuff you're hearing from your guides, but what are some of the more challenging components of dealing with clients?
Them not having realistic
expectations.
Not even. I keep wanting to say expectations. You can hear that coming out of my mouth, but that's not even what They don't have realistic mentality of what they can do themselves. And honestly, as good as Jase Guyman or Kobe Hunt or Doyle Moss or Kalen Lemon or any of them guys are, you're really only as you can only do what your hunter can do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if they can't go and they can't dive into big canyons, you have to totally change how you hunt, and you have to hunt like they can hunt, and it's a handicap for sure. But that's why I explained to Jase and these other guys that are younger like that. These guys are the guys that need help. They're the ones that are ready to hire an outfitter because they know they either don't have time or they're questioning their ability to be able to do it.
That's a good way to put it. I've thought of, you always read on, and I think it's on your guys' website, but also others like Doyle Moss's website. It's like, come to camp prepared, try to be in the best shape you can be good behind the gun, and you'll have a successful hunt. If you don't do those, basic two things, who knows what's going to happen. There's going to be no guarantee.
Yeah.
So, you're only as good as your hunters is true.
I heard you guys talking about it the other day, and I remember even you saying you didn't really want to go on a guided hunt on your sportsman's tag and things like that. And I get that. I know that a big majority of people don't want to pay for a guide. They wouldn't pay for a guide.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a good majority or a good portion of the hunters out there that you think you really sit back and you think about it, and you know, with social media, I think we all think that nobody has a real job, and we have all the time in the world to just be out there. That's not the truth of the matter at all. You know, whether you're Chad Mendez and you're training for MMA and everything else, hunting is time consuming. You know.
Yeah.
And if you don't have time to go out there and do it, and you have the money, you want to get a guide, then heck, do it. So.
You know, I was talking to Jase up there on the mountain, and he was telling me about a sheep hunter he had guided. And, you know, it was rough terrain. It was hot, he said, and he was wondering if the hunter was going to make it. And they were able to locate the ram they wanted, and the hunter made a great shot. And then he could barely make it over to the ram. And Jay said that he posed for some pictures, and as soon as he was done with that, he was like throwing up, and he was not ready for what that hunt threw at him. And Jase, being the machine, as you call him, he was telling me, you know, he had to take care of the sheep himself and then pack it and his hunter's pack out. Just, you know, was giving him water, making sure he was rested and as much as he could. And I was like, holy cow, that sounds like a nightmare almost.
Yeah, well, I've listened to Adam Bronson with Epic on their podcast talk about, you know, you get these guys that are they're ready, they're excited, their mind wants to go on these hunts, but they're physically unprepared for what they're getting themselves into. And you know, he's called in life flight before on his hunt. You know,
wow,
that's a scary deal.
Holy cow!
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of responsibility. I mean, that. Well, and you know, you read in hunting magazines, you know, how do you get, like, you know, whether it's a hunting magazine that's, you know, published from back east, you know, Outdoor World or whatever it is, it's like, how do you get ready for a western hunt? You know, it's always talking about western elk hunting, and they're always talking about the conditioning you got to go through, all this stuff. And what I experienced on my mom's elk hunt, and a little bit on my hunt, but my hunt was so quick, but it is probably more mental and emotionally draining than physical, you know. And we've talked about on another podcast that if you're not in physical shape, your mental, you know, fortitude is going to go quicker.
Yeah, you don't have the mental stamina when your physical stamina starts being depleted.
Yeah. So that'd be a challenge to be a guide and have somebody like, oh, I can't imagine knowing, okay, you know, I can't imagine Dozer, the deer I killed, like seeing a deer like that and knowing nobody else knows about him. He's in this certain canyon. This hunter has an opportunity of a lifetime. It's a 4-mile hike in, and he just didn't, you know, and you've been talking to him all summer saying, hey, you know, sending him pictures. Here's your motivation, man. Get on it. Get in shape. And then he shows up to camp. Maybe not in the best shape, but he's gung-ho to do it. And you make it halfway there, and he's just, I can't do it. I can't do it. You know, it'd be hard to be professional and say, you know what, let's turn around. I don't want to kill you. Because I would probably be like, suck it up, dude. We're going. Like, just, you know, kick it in the butt. Let's go. But
you can cry about this later.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely would be tough.
Yeah, I honestly think that's the biggest challenge. You know, you can get over what, you know, everybody's got different personalities, and you can kind of get over some of that and just get on with the hunt. But yeah, definitely the unpreparedness is probably the hardest thing about guiding.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Unprepared. I meant to say.
That's okay. You're from Sanpete County. That's acceptable up there.
I grew up in Sanpete, and you're making me talk way more than I normally talk.
You know, McCade said he has family in Sanpete, and McCade's last name is Cox. And we were like, I wonder if you guys are related down the line a little bit.
I think we Facebook messaged a little bit about that.
Yeah, we'll have to
a long time ago, but
we'll have to look at a family tree sometime and see.
I know.
And
I know you might be dangling right there on the same limb as me.
Seriously.
Yeah, and then he'll just start asking for the same hookups Bridger's getting.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to take me
Since
hunting
we're family,
too? You know, hey.
We're family. Let's make some family memories.
That's right. So on the flip
Yeah.
side to the question I asked a little bit ago, what has been like the most rewarding part of your business as a guide?
As a guide or as iVideo Wildlife, or because I haven't guided much.
Or as an outfitter, probably more.
As an
You're probably
outfitter.
more of an outfitter.
I
right?
mean, I think
Well-
it kind of goes one and the same. You're seeing these people on their hunts, even as iVideo Wildlife.
Yeah, you just feel as you're part of it or you participated in it. You know, if you're a guide, I think the guides, honestly, if you got 5 guys to sit down and really be truthful and honest with you, it's an ego boost for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
to
I would
say-
drag my hunter 3 canyons. I don't care if you die of a heart attack. We're killing this deer, so I can say I guided you to it. You know.
And I'm not meaning that in a bad way to guide, but when they're able to get in that grip and grin photo of that giant buck, and no, they didn't pull the trigger, but they were
They did
pushing
all the
that
work.
hunter, and they did the guide or the scouting, and they did the preparation for it. I think deep down, that buck's a good percentage of almost their own buck in a way.
Yeah.
So
That's truth right there.
Well, I mean,
no need to shy away from that.
when do they ever get a hunt for themselves? You know.
they don't.
That would
They
be
don't.
the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Kobe, I think I've seen. I mean, he takes his kids hunting, but he hasn't hunted for himself since I've known him.
Wow.
Not once.
Wow. Yeah.
Jeez.
You know what, Kelly? I think the only time, there's twice, but I met Kobe on my hunt on the Henrys. And do you remember the first time I think I really met him was when it was me, you, and Chase? We went up on that hike and we got those cool bucks. That buck's drinking out of the the water out of the rock, and it's hailing up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's when Bridger walked right over those sheds and didn't even see him, and he looked like he was gonna cry. I mean,
He still boobs about that to this day.
but it was after that hike, and we get into camp, and my dad and Binkley are there, and they're like, "Hey, these guides up here, they've got a big deer they want to show you." And I'm like, "Really?" And they're like, and I just remember Binkley going like, "Dude, it's huge. It's a big deer." And so that kind of gave me an opportunity to kind of, okay, well, it's going to be big, It wasn't going to be like a shock and awe kind of thing. And I remember, Kobe and his buddy, it was Taylor, and he's like, "Hey, here's this buck we got." They just kind of they threw it out there kind of with that ego, kind of like, "Hey, yeah, you seen anything like this?" And I just straight-faced just go, "Yeah, that's a cool buck, but you should have seen the bucks we saw today." And they just kind of, and Kobe like walked away. "I can't believe this shit." And he walks away. I remember just doing that. Like he would just kind of
I don't know if I ever told you that, but he was pissed.
yeah. Oh, he
like,
was pissed.
What's the matter with that kid?
Yeah.
He just looked at a 240-inch deer and he just shrugs his shoulders.
Yeah, and I mean, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is my dream buck." But because Binkley gave me, I didn't want them to know they had all the cards, in their hand. I wanted to be like, "Cool, dude," and like, "Awesome, good job. This is what you're supposed to do, good job." Dude, but I remember Kobe stormed away from camp with his hands on his head like, "You've got to be freaking kidding me." Like, yeah, like dead serious. I remember you did mention something about it. Like, dude, Kobe thinks you're like, you don't know what the hell you're looking at, And that's like my one and only time really knowing Kobe, because it was soon after that he, went out on his own, and I didn't see much of him after. But it was just a funny memory from that hunt. Just him and Taylor just kind of looking at me like, "Dude, you are."
Oh yeah, they did. They didn't know what to think of you when you kind of shrugged that buck off.
And then I go back to camp, and I'm just like, "Guys, that's my dream buck. That's huge, But I wasn't gonna let them know that. I was just like, "Cool, good job, guys."
Yeah. That was. Yeah. So I mean, them not being able to hunt, that would be hard. But I think they live their life through their they're people that they're taking out and they're helping kill these big animals with. They have to be. So
Yeah.
that's how they get the gratification out of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Kelly, along those same lines, as you have different clients, I mean, this is kind of a random question, but where's the most off the wall, spot on the map that you've had a client before? You had somebody from like Hawaii or, clear back east, Vermont, that's kind of contacted you, or are they relatively all out here in the West?
We've taken some. Wisconsin is kind of for whatever reason, it's kind of a hot state. I get a lot of phone calls from Wisconsin, which is different to me. I've had New York. I've had guys from New York, call and want to do lion hunts or something like that. And nobody from Hawaii yet. A lot of California.
Yeah. So when you get the calls from Wisconsin and New York, what are some things that you tell them for preparation, or some things you recommend to those people? Hey, if you're looking to come out here to Utah, this is what to expect. What are some of those things that you go through as an outfitter, kind of lining them out?
Yeah, just what we've talked about. You just pound it home to them that we're at 7,000 to 10.5, foot elevation, and it's just, I mean, they're rocky mountains, they're steep mountains, and you just try to prepare them, just like what you were reading on the websites and stuff. You have to pound that home. Shooting distance, long range, whatever, kind of gets a bad rap, but heck, a lot of these guys come out and they literally don't shoot past 100 to 150 yards.
Yeah.
When you're out rifle hunting here in the West, I mean, that's nothing. We gotta be able to reach out there, whatever you're comfortable with, but 300-400, at least is what you should be trying to do.
Well, especially if they're, they have some elevation sickness and they can't go further. It's like, okay, we got to take this cross canyon shot here, and that's kind of drive that point home for sure.
Right.
So that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm happy for you, Kelly, dude. To go from my Via Wildlife to all of a sudden starting that Utah Big Game Outfitters and being with Kobe and just kind of seeing how everything tied back together. And then I'm pissed off at Bridger because that kid, every grown man and every young kid probably hates Bridger, to be honest. That little sucker. He's killed so many big deer. And then he's getting to the point now where he's in the pictures kind of like, yeah, this is just another year. This is just kind of, yeah, it's expected right now. I'm just like, little sucker. Oh, dang.
He'll get schooled. He's starting to go less and less with Dad. Kind of, I'm going to go with the buddies and do this. I remember last year was the very first year, so we probably went through a ton of long stories, and these guys are sick of hearing this stuff. But I took Bridger and Brandon on a hunt back close to when I took you on yours. I think it was the next year.
I think it was that. It was that year. It was that year. You had them draw straws or whatever, the twigs, right?
Yeah, I made them draw straws on who got to shoot first, even though me and Bridger, found the buck the week before. And I explained to Bridger, I said, if you go through life, hunt with what you call a hunting buddy, but you're not willing to let that hunting buddy shoot the buck that you see, you ain't gonna be friends. You're not gonna have a hunting buddy. You're gonna be hunting by yourself. You have to have that attitude that you're out there to help each other. And so that's what we did. That was my lesson that night. We drew straws. Bridger lost. The buddy went and shot the buck the next morning. A week later, we got Bridger a cool buck.
Uh-huh.
So full circle, them two are 12-year-old little kids. Now they're 17-year-old boys. They can drive. They go out. They come home one night last August. I remember it was archery season. I hadn't even hunted for myself. All I'd done when I went hunting to help Bridger. I'd sit behind the glass. I didn't even take my bow with me last year. And they come home one night, flip the phone scopes out. They show me this giant buck, and I'm like, holy crap. I said, let's go kill that thing. Man, they got all kind of weird on me. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, we're going to try to get this buck, Dad.
Oh, no.
they
Oh, my
right to the
gosh.
curb.
Oh, my heck.
That dude didn't even get to go with them after
Oh,
all this.
man. That's it, Bridger.
I saw that story going way differently.
So did I. I did, too. I thought it was going to be
Maybe that's why he felt so bad on the rifle hunt.
Oh,
Said,
my
Dad, it's your time to kill the deer.
gosh.
We hosed
But I guess what I'm getting at is, kids are kids, and
Yeah.
but they didn't kill the deer, by the way. They should have took my help.
you. Rub it in their faces a little bit there.
Well, now you can go kill it this year.
They still won't tell me where it's at.
Oh, my gosh.
They
Wow.
won't tell me where it's at.
Secrets
Oh,
from
my
Dad.
heck, that's it. That's it. We'll come down with you, Kelly. We'll go find bigger deer, and then we won't tell Bridger.
Right.
We'll have a contest. Say, Bridger,
Right.
you and Brandon go out.
I've locked up my trail cameras. I'm like, all right, we're playing this game. But I'm just kidding. We're not that bad.
Oh,
That's
No,
funny.
it's cool. It's cool. I probably sounded way worse than it really was, but it's cool to see your kid too go out and kind of do it on his own, and
yeah.
not necessarily keeping it a secret, but the evolution of it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Well, that's kind of the fruit of your labor coming to fruition. You know what I mean? Just kind of like, hey, he feels comfortable being in the field. He feels comfortable sleeping on his own out in the back. He feels like he can survive. He feels like he can stalk in on an animal. Like, that's just saying.
I think you'd be shocked at how many kids in today's age at 16 or 17 wouldn't even know where to begin, guys.
Oh,
They
Kelly,
wouldn't even know where to begin.
I have this argument all the time in physical therapy in the clinic, because we have some like young girls like just out of high school as our like physical therapy techs. They're thinking about going to school for it, so we hire them. And just some of the stories they have of the boys they're dating, I'm like, I was like, I don't even think that these kids would even know how to where the little lever is to pop the hood, let alone to walk around to the hood and then know where the latch is to undo the hood. And then you want them to check the oil? BS. They don't even know what they're doing. So to see kids getting out in the outdoors, yeah, that's rare. It's a rare breed now.
It is. It is, and it's sad, because that is our future, and that's what this. I've hashtagged it or whatever on Instagram before, but the whole passing on the passion thing,
Yeah.
And it's you guys. We talked about it earlier. You got to get them out there. You got to get them enjoying it, and you can't force it. You know what I mean? You can't make anybody do anything, but you got to put it on that silver plate for them and then let them choose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it's something they love and they want to do, then keep feeding them.
Yeah.
Keep feeding it to them.
Yeah, it's crazy to me because even when I was in high school, there was kind of a stigma against it, but it was still acceptable. But it was the cool thing to have a camo jacket and wear it down the hallways of school. Like, you were a cool kid. Every boy had a camo jacket.
But it had to be like the wetlands.
Yeah, the
camo.
wetlands, that is true.
You're way cool if you were that.
Yeah, not the real tree camo. It was wetlands. Yeah, maybe that was a Grantsville thing.
Marsh shadow.
I don't know, yeah. But, now, geez, hey, the tighter the pants, the cooler you are now.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
If you can fit your phone in your front pocket, not tight enough. Go to the little girl section and get your pants. That's how I feel.
Right.
So yeah, I'm right there with you, Kelly, on that in that aspect for sure.
Well, I hope we pass it on, and then we get a good generation of up and comers, let's call them. But it's good. I think the writing's on the wall. It's going to be harder and harder and harder every year. It's just kind of a little bit less. I mean, you think of your own life, your own lifespan of what you're talking about from when you were in school to where you are now.
Yeah, 10 years.
And it's crazy how fast we're losing it.
Yeah.
So
I got a couple random questions for you, Kelly.
we better get on a happy note.
Yeah. Seriously. Well, a happy note, real quick. Jazz update. 6 minutes left in the third quarter. 71 Jazz, 56 OKC.
Oh, we're gonna
Taking it to him again.
We're taking it home tonight.
That's right.
We're moving on to the Rocket.
Heck yeah. Little rematch there from the 90s.
Yeah, John Stockton.
Okay, I got a couple quick questions for you, Kelly. Just going to shoot them out there. What's your favorite caliber rifle?
Oh, I'm a 300 rum guy.
300 round.
Oh,
Yep.
I am.
300 rum short mag with a Huskama scope.
You sound all too familiar with that gun.
Well, it kind of helped me kill a certain deer.
No, it's 300 rum short mag. That don't work. But
Oh, yeah.
when you hunted with me,
It was just
Zach,
a 300 short mag.
It was a 300 short
Yeah, not
mag.
the rum. I was going to shoot the rum, and it was so out of whack. It was jacked up. So Kelly's like, here, I got this gun. We don't want to screw this up, so here, use my gun. It's dead on. Okay, sounds good.
I didn't know if you'd want to bring that story up. Or...
No, I'm fine with it. Well, then we can talk. I always tell people are like, you thought you shot the wrong deer? I'm like, listen, adrenaline was pumping. It was just a joke, I just wanted to throw everybody off.
You were so serious. It was so funny.
Dude,
then you got Kelly questioning himself. Wait, was it?
Oh yeah, I was confident, and then
Kelly's bad mouthing me in the back. You shot the deer without looking at it. What kind of hunter are you? And I'm like, dang it.
Trying not to psych myself out.
You didn't look at that rack before you pulled the trigger.
I looked at the rack quickly, but then I just said, "Okay, I'm just watching his shoulder, and that's all I'm going to look at, or else I'm going to start just freaking out with buck fever."
Yeah. So yeah, I switched from the short mag from back then to that 300 rum, and it ain't fun to shoot off the bench, but I just love what it does. Out there with an animal.
Yeah.
So that's my caliber. So.
Still shooting double tap?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, double tap. Always shot them.
Cool.
So.
What's your favorite meal while you're out hunting?
Favorite?
Ooh, this is tough.
You guys didn't prep me for this shit before we started.
You're supposed to just have that in there.
Yeah, just one thing.
Fresh back straps. It would be a very great answer.
Favorite meal? Well, I mean, in the last few years, I've started doing a lot more backpacking, with Bridger and stuff, and even in Colorado, getting way back in there. And I'd have to say, as far as dehydrated, I don't know if that's the road you're going down, but dehydrated food, me and Bridger's favorite is lasagna.
With meat sauce.
With the Mountain House. The meat sauce lasagna.
Mine too.
And Idaho and potatoes. You can't go wrong with a package of Idaho and potatoes. And
ooh, I haven't tried that.
That'll fill you up plenty full, You haven't tried Idaho and potatoes?
No, I haven't tried it while hunting. I remember in 8th grade doing an outdoor survival class, and I tried it. But man, that sounds delicious when you're
potatoes, the mashed potatoes you get at Applebee's.
Yeah. With
the garlic flavoring. They taste about just like those.
Yeah, pretty dang good.
Ooh, that sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
What about
I mean, at camp, I don't. Anything, steak, whatever, steak and potatoes.
You're hungry enough, anything tastes good, right?
Honestly, when I get back hunting at night, I'm a late morning, I love to come back and have 11, 12 o'clock breakfast and just eat a big, huge breakfast. And then when I get back at night, I'll literally warm up a can of stew and eat it and go to bed.
Yeah. What's your favorite snack on the mountain? What do you put in your pack?
What do I put in the pack?
Well, Kelly is getting a little older, so he might have some, MSM for the arthritis in the joints. they have any of those, Kelly? Any?
Yeah.
Any?
You don't even know what 43 feels like. You wait. What 43 feels like.
He's got some. He's got
But
some vitamins.
I probably will still kick the shit out of them 16-year-olds that don't know what.
That's true. That's true. That still believe in blinker fluid. Hey, you guys have any blinker fluid?
My favorite in the pack snack by far, hands down, is Welch's gummy, whatever them damn things are, them little gummy Welch's packs.
Are they the ones with the real juice in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, that's my Lake Powell snack.
I love to sit down after hiking and glass and pop them open. Them are my favorite.
Ooh, that's
So.
yeah.
Have to grab some of those for my next hike. Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, you'll be hooked.
What are your what kind of boots are you running these days?
I've been using Zamberlins as of lately. So I've got the Zamberlin Lynx is kind of more of a summer type boot, and that's pretty much what I'll wear, starting trail camera season through the end of September. I'll wear those. And then I've got the Guide GTXs that are a little more durable and a little more water. I shouldn't say the Lynx have never been waterproof, but I just feel like in my head that if I'm in November and in snow and stuff, that the Guide GTXs are probably a better boot for if shit gets bad or ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've been running those boots too, and
am I swearing too much? I know Zach said this is a family podcast, but all I've said is the S word.
That is true. That's true.
You're keeping it pretty clean.
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
I'll tone it down a titch.
No, you're fine. I think I said a couple here and there too. No worries. This is a campfire, Kelly. It's just like being on the Henrys
Right.
again at Lonesome Beaver Campground, talking about the next day's plans.
All right.
So, Kelly,
Well, hit me. What else you got?
who is your hunting hero?
My hunting, I mean, geez, that's the obvious answer is my dad,
Yeah.
Yeah, and he is, but who have I looked up to in the, let's just say, maybe more of in the industry or something, but, the right answer and the real answer is my dad. I mean, that's the
Right.
reason. And I'm doing what I'm doing. Why I love doing what I'm doing is because of him, but other than him,
I've got mine. I just thought of mine like within the industry. But I'm waiting for Kelly.
gosh, I'm trying to make sure I'm not going to think back and say, why don't you say this? I mean, I got a name in my head. I'm just trying to kind of go through it a little bit, but I've got to be a scout leader with Jason Carter.
I was gonna bring that up, you sucker.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I've been neighbors with Jason Carter he's a good guy, and we've sat up on scout camps and talked about things. We're fairly close. We're not like super close. We've never even been hunting together. But
Yeah.
I would have to say that he would probably be one that I would say is pretty high on my list as far as impressive what he's done year after year after year.
Yeah, his hunting resume does not lack anywhere.
Yeah. No, he gets it done, and you know what? He has, he has the time to do it for sure with the
Right.
with the profession that he's in, and so we can all be jealous of that if we want to be. But I pass the guy every day, during hunting season, and that guy goes nonstop.
Holy cow! Yeah, it seems like it.
From July through November, he's going nonstop, and I ask him all the time. I'm like, dude, do you hate it? Do you literally hate hunting by November? And he's so burnt out by November, and so am I. Honestly, by November, I'm done. Like, everybody gets all hyped up on shed hunting and stuff this time of year, and I'm just like, just give me another couple months. I just don't want to worry about it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, when you dedicate that kind of time and all of the effort that goes into it, I mean, I get worn out on a weekend hunt sometimes. You know, I can't imagine doing that all year. It'd be exhausting.
Yeah, and it's all week. You know, he's lucky enough to have a job that lets him do that, but he'll run out to Nevada and at 3 or 4 in the morning, run trail cameras till noon, and then he'll be back in the office and he'll work on his magazine from 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, and then he'll wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning and go do it again.
Holy cow!
Every day.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom's elk hunt, it was Wednesday. Hunt started Saturday, and I was about ready to throw in the towel. Like, I was so drained. Just, and I was helping my mom, and Jason, is helping out people. He's hunting his, if you want to talk about being a guide kind of thing. I mean, Jason's not necessarily a guide, but, he hunts for himself and he helps others out. But, geez, I was, like, so drained just after 4 days of trying to help my mom, my own mother, who's not going to judge me or be upset with me, and I'm just like,
and that's, you guys were talking about it, the mental game of hunting, so many guys will throw the towel in early just because stuff ain't going their way.
Good catch. Good catch.
So it's mental. It's a lot mental for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to throw it in too early, and give up because you're, whatever the case may be, you're not seeing animals, you're tired, you're hungry. But, when you dig down deep and push yourself, that's usually when things end up happening. I know on my hunt.
Sorry, McCade, go ahead.
No, well, I was just gonna say on my hunt. So I had that archery tag, which is about a month long, and I didn't hunt for 15 days straight, but I was on the mountain for a total of 15 days during that month. I hunted the weekends and then really hard towards when the rut started kind of kicking off. And the day before I killed my bull, which was the last Saturday of that hunt, I ran up on the mountain with Jase, and he tore me all over that freaking mountain in the dark, and it was steeper than snot, and I was seriously debating whether or not I wanted to go back the next day. I was toast. I got back to camp at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was going to meet Jase back on the mountain at like 5 a.m.
Why didn't you just sleep on the mountain?
It was terrible planning and just impromptu meeting up with Jase.
Right.
I honestly was done. I was like, you know what? I've given it my all. My dad was like, you ought to just give it this one last try. We're planning on going home Sunday. You ought to just try it. So we did, and it ended up happening. But
right.
I was physically done, and I had gone through my highs and lows mentally and was going down. But anyway.
Kelly, we got an update on the game right now, Kelly.
What's that?
The Jazz are only up by 3 points right now.
You're kidding.
No. Less than a minute left in the third quarter. It's 78-75. What the freak, Jazz? Come on, Donovan.
What happened, man?
Donovan's just got to start taking it to the hole. They can't stop him when they take it to the hole.
We're going to have to wrap this up quick and finish the fourth quarter.
But, sorry, Kelly. What were you going to say about...
Problem it is, it's not on TV tonight. It's not on your regular...
I know, TNT or ESPN.
Yeah, you got to have that NBA package or whatever.
I know. Come on. But
anyway.
Sorry, Kelly, I cut you
No,
off.
I think archery elk hunting, you can burn yourself out so easy. More so on an archery elk hunt because our season dates in Utah are so horrible.
It's hot.
You can ruin a hunt before it even had a chance to get going. You know what I mean? And not so much with deer, archery deer. You can have good deer hunting from day one and all the way through. You just got to be able to do that. But with archery elk, I would do like you said, I would hunt your weekends and save yourself, and then plow into it as hard as you can them last 15 days or 12 days or 10 days or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When the rut's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You guys are doing good. The whole podcast thing, everything's going good.
Well, we appreciate you listening. That's awesome.
I did. Yeah.
We're having fun with it.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to every one, but I've tried to jump on and catch a few of them.
Well, we appreciate that. We're having fun with it. I mean, it was never really something we wanted to do consistently. It was just kind of a thing we started doing for the heck of it. Just we thought we had fun things to say and wanted to record them, and then we jumped on with this Sportsman's Nation podcast network. Started out kind of as a network for these eastern whitetail guys, but the guy that started it wanted to branch out into the western big game scene, and he listened to a couple of ones we had on Podbean and thought we'd be a great fit, and asked us if we were up for the challenge to do it on a more regular, consistent basis, and we said, sure. We like talking to people and discussing hunting, so when we started it, we knew that you were one of the people that we wanted to have on this podcast, because we like your work. We like what you've done with iVideo Wildlife. You have amazing quality videos and photos, and it gets us pumped up for our hunts.
Yeah, definitely watch it for some, okay. See,
well, I appreciate that, because, like I said, sometimes I look back at the iVideo Wildlife, the whole website side of it, and part of me is like, oh, you didn't turn it into, you tried and you didn't really turn it into what you thought you could turn it into or whatever. But I've had that oh-ha or whatever moment of saying, you know what, you do it because of these reasons, and you've always been happy with it because of this, and that's really what matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. So if people want to find out more about you or Utah Big Game Outfitters, both Utah Big Game Outfitters and iVideo Wildlife are on social media, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we both, there's still a website for iVideo Wildlife. I've still got all my own videos and stuff there on i-videowildlife.com. It's a place where all my videos are, but easier than that is my YouTube channel. YouTube's so easy to grab and run with that I'm there. I'm on social media as iVideo Wildlife on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And then UtahBigGameOutfitters.com, and then also on Instagram and Facebook and stuff.
So if people are interested in finding out more about booking a hunt with you guys, the best way to do it is get on the website and give you a call, or?
Yeah, there's a contact page on the website. You can get on, you can get into our gallery and see what, stuff we've taken over the few years, over the last few years. And there's a contact. There's the email that comes to me is UtahBigGameOutfitters@gmail.com. Kobe's information's also on there.
Perfect.
Nice.
We definitely recommend you guys jump on the web, check out both iVideoWildlife.com and UtahBigGameOutfitters.com. Look them up on the social media platforms, including YouTube. You'll see a lot of awesome footage. The footage of the rams that you posted.
The slow-mo?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Slow motion you put on there, Kelly, of them just knocking heads. That's cool.
Yeah. It's fun. It's what I like to do. And, when you can't have a tag in your pocket every year for them big hunts, and as far as I'm concerned, the next best thing is to go film it and document it. So
yeah, kill them with a camera.
There you go. Shoot them with the camera.
We're gonna have to link up sometime, Kelly. I'd love to tag along on one of those trips where you go film those rams.
Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be
you
fun.
guys. I'm always up if you guys want to go down and hit the Henrys for old time's sake.
I haven't been down there
August.
since. I want to go down there like the 24th of July weekend, beginning August. I keep telling McCade, I said, you'll be amazed. You've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal for sure. I've went down a few times in August, and then I try to tell you, I've taken the wife and kids over. It's pretty amazing to go over right around Thanksgiving too, and just drive around and bucks are rutting, and it's a good time. And honestly, you could, if you did the Thanksgiving, you could hit the Henrys, jump off the Henrys, and fly up Hanksville and up to Green River and look at sheep, all in a 2-day period.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, I'm putting it in the calendar right now.
It's booked.
Right?
Kelly, it's a little side note. You want to know something pretty interesting this year? We went down to the Henry shed hunting, right? It was, the first weekend in March? We're down low. I'd never been on the McMillan side, the campground side of things on Ellen. So I was like, well, let's drive over there. It took us forever going on, Nodum Road and cutting across, and we started off low. No lie, I found a matching set, and McCade found one, and there were we saw over 100 deer right where McMillan Springs campground was, and there was like 4 feet of snow. Like, they were up there. I was like, holy
8,500 feet.
And we were right there in them. My truck made it all the way up there, but I was like, geez, do you guys not come down off the mountain? I was so shocked. I was like, this is where they are during the summer, is right here. They don't move.
Yeah.
And I was shocked.
They don't. And in November, when most deer migrate, whether you're in the Beaver or whether you're up north, deer start migrating off the mountain. You're going to find the deer on the Henrys unless there's 2 feet of snow or whatever, and it pushes them down. But if it's just kind of normal snow, them deer are right where they were in the summertime, and it's because they don't have a long ways to go.
Right. Right.
They can get a snowstorm, and they can be from 10,500 feet. They can drop off that in 2 hours and be to 7,000 feet, in no time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, but yeah, the Henrys. I even my wife. I said I really want to go down there in July or beginning August, and just that Lonesome Beaver campground is a really special campground. Like, it's awesome. So shaded. Pine trees everywhere. I mean, it's a little bit of a drive to get over Bull Pass and onto the other side, but man, who cares? You're seeing deer the whole time. So,
yeah, good time.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to do it.
Yeah, we'll have to line that out and do it for sure.
Be a good time.
Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your time. Really enjoyed the conversation, reminiscing a little bit and kind of learning a little bit more about the history with iVideo Wildlife and now where you're at with Utah Big Game Outfitters. So thank you so much for spending time on this weeknight with us. And, let's get together. Head down to the Henrys or 9 Mile or something and go look at some sheep and some bucks.
Yeah, we'll do it for sure. So thanks, guys. Thanks for being patient with getting with me. And it was a good time talking to you again, reminiscing.
Yep, for sure.
Definitely. Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
We're just going to start recording.
Let's see.
Does it pull up on a flip phone?
Yes. I was looking for McCade at first here.
His name's Kelly.
His name is Kelly.
Kelly Cox.
Oh, McCade's mom. Oh,
whoa.
All I know is I've listened to a few of your podcasts. I don't know if McCade's going to let us talk about Dozer anymore. Sounds like that.
No, they hammer me all the time, but I'm like, listen, this buck can be talked about as often as you need to.
If I had ever shot a buck of that caliber, I'd talk about it every podcast too.
Well,
it's just jealousy.
Well, I plugged it pretty hard with King's Camo because I told them, I said, you guys told me my deer was going to be in a calendar, and it's never been in a calendar. And I said, the year after me, Sportsman's buck was in the calendar. Why wasn't my buck in the calendar? And the kid is like, dude, here's my card. Send me. And he's like, we'll get that done. And I was like, I'm just kidding. It's no big deal. But anyways, I always got to shoot a plug in there. It's the only thing I got to fame, man. It's the only.
That's okay, man.
Not every day you get to be in a calendar, perhaps.
Seriously.
So.